Hello and welcome to a game of Starcraft 2 between MaDFroG and Risk. MaDFroG will be playing as the light blue Zerg at the 9 o'clock position, and Risk will be playing as the red Protoss player at the 3 o'clock position. The map is going to be Lost Temple, and this is GG Your Face, and they were just talking about either 8 or 9 pool. That is not the game for where you put balls in the holes, also known as billiards, but they're talking about the build order for the Zerg player, and looks like MaDFroG has already saved up 3 lava with 155 minerals, 160 now, and I think he's going to be going for a little bit earlier of a spawning pool, as the spawning pool does go down on 9 population inside the base of Risk. He has already finished 1 pylon, will be scouting the 6 o'clock position. MaDFroG already knows his opponent is not going to be at the 6 o'clock position, and this probe, if the probe had gone a little bit more in, he would have seen the Overlord, and he will know that his opponent is at the 9 o'clock position. But this probe does go to the 12 o'clock position to see if the Overlord is there, but he does not see it, and he will be scouting the 9 o'clock position because he knows his opponent cannot be at the 12 nor the 6 unless his opponent has not scouted him. And there is going to be an extractor going up and an extractor going down that will allow him to have momentarily +1 population for every single time he does it, so he could actually get a lot more if he wants to, and if he could afford it for the time and duration of the Overlord when it's building. And immediately after the spawning pool finishes, MaDFroG will be getting 6 Zerglings from 3 of those eggs, and Risk does know this is coming, so he will be trying to block it off with an additional pylon and the gateway. There is a little gap over here for Zealots and Zerglings to fit if they want to, and MaDFroG is going to scout in the correct direction now with his drone because he knows his opponent cannot be at the 6, cannot be at the 12, and these Zerglings have spawned and they're angry. Usually this is a really good spawn location for the Zerg player to be really far from your opponent, but in this case it is actually not really beneficial for him because the rush distance is so long that by the time you get there, his opponent will most likely have the Zealot, and I think he will be able to get it out as he is chrono boosting it from his gateway. It's about 80% done and the Zerglings are just arriving. I think the Zealot will show up just in time, and he is going to spawn or not spawn. He will spawn in time, and he's back walking, moonwalking his way back and forth next to the pylon. He needs to keep the pylon as well as the Zealot alive, because if the Zealot gets surrounded, he will go down really quick, but he is killing off Zerglings left and right. He has already taken down 2 of those Zerglings. 2 kills for that Zealot, but he needs to keep this pylon alive. Can he do it? And he's coming in, whacking at these Zerglings, and the Zerglings will back off the secondary. Zealot have spawn, and this might be able to deter the player MaDFroG a little bit, and it is going to be a little bit annoying, like those couple that won't hang up the phone. One says, I love you, the other says, I love you more, as these players are dancing back and forth. No, I love you more. No, I love you more. Oh, I love, oh, I gotta go. My girlfriend's on the other line calling. I mean, my house is on fire. See you later, bye. I think MaDFroG needs to back off here. If we take a look at the income tab, he is behind in terms of income, but he has already gotten his second hatchery. This little charge from these Zerglings has allowed him time to put up the second hatchery, but that second hatchery might go down because he is behind in terms of minerals, and he does put himself further behind by putting up this hatchery for quite a while until he gets all of the drones up and running. And the army size at 22 to 26, so the Protoss player does have quite a lead, and the Zerg player only has around 6 Zerglings out on the field versus 2 Zealots, and he's also going to be behind on drones as well. He is making more drones, he is making queens to try to keep up with the production rate of the Protoss player. He needs to regularly inject those hatcheries, as he is not quite doing right now, so he is a little bit further behind than I thought. And the chrono boost is being used on the cybernetics core, and I think the Protoss player is very comfortable with his lead. He even puts down a robotics facility, probably not going to go for an observer this game. He knows what his opponent has. He has a 9 pull, he has Zerglings, and he might or might not be getting that expansion, and it looks like he is going to get that expansion with the spine crawler. This spine crawler won't be able to do too much, as it is more like a security blanket, I think, at this point. And the Zerglings are running across the map once again. He does have 1 Zergling over here and 1 Zergling over here controlling the control towers, the watch towers, and 1 probe is going to come out. He should snipe off this probe, and the probe will get past. The robotics facility is in, and he has a lot of minerals and gas. It looks like he will be building that immortal. Immortals are very, very good at taking down armor units like roaches, or they are really actually good at taking down buildings in general, because the buildings are going to take extra damage from these Immortals, and the Zerglings are going to go down to the Zealot. He will try to run to the base, but there is a Zealot on hold position at the top of the ramp, so he won't be able to make it in. He will try anyway. He tries to fit between these 2 pylons, but he is just a cat that is simply too fat. And the probe did go down to the spine crawler, as it does have 1 kill over here, so he does know his opponent has 1 spine crawler and has already expanded metabolic boost is being researched by MaDFroG at the moment, and the income tab does show the Protoss player once again still ahead about 100 or 200 minerals. You may not think that is a lot, but that is a per minute rate, and if you have that sort of a lead, that means that you can get an extra 1 or 2 zealots per minute, and that will add up over the course of 3-4 minutes, which is about how long it has been. And the Queen injecting, once again, very good idea. And there's a Spire alone with a Spine Crawler going up in the back of the map. And there is going to be a Colossus coming out on the field for Risk, as he does have the Robotics Bay. He does have enough for another 2 Chrono Boost, but he only really needs another 1 to finish Chrono Boosting this Colossus out. There's one Zergling patrolling back and forth between the middle of the map and the natural expansion to see if his opponent takes a sneaky expansion there. And if we take a look at the unit count, there is going to be 1 Colossus coming out, 1 Immortal, 4 Stalkers, and 4 Zealots, and the Zerg only has a lot of Zerglings. This is not going to go down too well, I think. And the Protoss player Risk is going to move out with his army, and the Zerg player MaDFroG will catch it with the Zergling on the Watchtower, but that is not going to help too much, as the army size is at 49 to 63. That is a huge difference, especially also in terms of tech, because the Protoss player Risk does have the Immortal and the Stalkers, and MaDFroG is trying to sweep around the side. But if we look at the vision of the Protoss player, he does see the Zerglings moving by, and the Zerglings are cornering his Stalker, and 1 of those Zealots will go down, and these Zerglings are running back, and very, very good player here. The Zealots are being warped in to prevent those Zerglings from swarming in. The Zerglings are trying to take down the pylon here. That is their only chance of getting in, but he realizes he can't do it, and he's trying to leave, and he's trying to squeeze by. Oh, he squeezed by the bottom, and is closed off by the Stalker, and the Zerglings are getting toasted. That is a lot of blood, a lot of burning corpses on the floor. 20 more Zerglings coming out, but that is not the unit you want against Colossus, Immortal, Stalkers, and Zealots. That is a very nice, healthy mix for Risk, and the army size at 60 to 66. It looks like once again MaDFroG is going to try to trade here. He wants to go into the base of his opponent Risk, and Risk is going to let him. Risk is going to let him, and you can follow the action inside the base of Risk at the lower right hand corner of the screen as we follow the main action on the main screen, as Risk is going to push in here, and he's going to take down this Spine Crawler very quickly because he does have those 2 Immortals, and those 2 Immortals do a lot of damage to structures, and he also takes down the Queen. The Queen does inject right before he dies, and there's going to be Mutalisks coming out, but the Mutalisks needs to take care of 5 of these Stalkers, and 2 Spine Crawlers are also going to be going up inside the base of MaDFroG, as he is in a crisis management mode. And these eggs are getting destroyed, and one of these Mutalisks spawn right in the middle of those Stalkers will go down. And there are 12 more Zerglings coming out, and these 2 Spine Crawlers won't be able to do too much, as 1 Spine Crawler goes down almost immediately, the second one also going down immediately. Those 2 Spine Crawlers did a combined damage of 50 on the Immortal. Not very good against the Immortals, and this is a really good positioning for the Protoss player. He actually needs to scooch over to this spot around here so he won't get surrounded by the Zerglings. There are some Zerglings and Mutalisks on the side. The unit count at 45 Zerglings. That's a lot of Zerglings. Zerglings trying to get us around, but they can't. This is a really good positioning for Risk, as Risk is going to be able to kill off these Zerglings. I think the Colossus is still very much alive. The Stalkers able to keep the Mutalisks at bay, and I think the forces of MaDFroG is going down very quickly, while Risk is still being able to hold the army count at 23 to 33. Both players have taken a lot of losses, but MaDFroG is going to lose his main base. He does have 1 drone somewhere outside the base, I believe, and he only has an extractor, spawning pool, and a spire. This is a really desperate time for him, but the Mutalisks have taken out all the Stalkers and forcing Risk to run a little bit, and the Stalkers will come back and help re-engage these Mutalisks. There are 3 Mutalisks, looks like 2 Zerglings, and there's more Zerglings elsewhere on the map. 4 more Zerglings, some Zerglings inside the base hitting the next is 1 Zergling patrolling back and forth here, and it looks like he will be working with 2 Zerglings and 3 Mutalisks, and the Mutalisks are going to come in here. The Spire is going to go down. As soon as these things go down, he will not have a chance anymore. He does have enough minerals, it looks like, to put down another hatchery, but that won't be able to do him much time, but buy him a couple of more seconds to be alive. He does micro the Mutalisks away, but that is too little too late, as there are going to be no more Zerg buildings momentarily, and he does go down. And yeah, that's what happens when you kill off everything for the other guy, and that is a pile of scrap metal, as those 3 Zerglings have led their way to a glorious victory. If you like what you see, please do subscribe, and also follow me at Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for listening. This is Your Face. See you guys at the next game. Game number 2. Wee!